Welcome to the speed agility component of the advanced program. This week is block 4 and we're going to increase the intensity in terms of maximum speed. We're still not quite at the high end stuff, but we're getting up to around 90%, which helps your transition back to your sport. But before we go into that, we're going to talk a little bit about the lateral movements, and I'll probably see from the other units of the program, the lateral aspect is really being the focus of this block. And this is no different. So we're going to challenge your lateral movement and your lateral competency. And the first movement we want you to do is a hop and stick. Now it's not like the same hop and stick of your strength and power programs that we've done before. It's a bit of a crossover in front, and once you cross over, it's this foot that I've crossed over with that pushes me across to the left, so then I'm stabilizing on that side. Now what I'm really looking for in this movement is, yes, you get a good crossover in front, but you don't transfer much force upwards. Obviously there's a little bit, but I want as much horizontal displacement as possible on the jump. So Ronan's going to show us what it looks like. So crossing over and jumping as far as you can to that side. So crossing over, driving. So we're not doing the jump yet. He's advanced, he knows what's coming. So we're going to go cross over, so he's going to cross over his right and then jump and then land. You're just stabilizing that landing. That's the first component. We're going to add the complexity a bit like the jump, the Ronan showed, but a cross and a jump. Yeah, so again, transferring all the force across is great, and the reason why the stick is there is to make sure that we're generating lots of force, but we're able to control that force as well. That's really important. So there's no point in having good power if we've got no brakes, so this is why we're challenging the movement, this is why we're challenging the force, but then also we've got to channelize how we stabilize ourselves also. So we're going to do 6 reps on your left, sorry if I said 4, 6 left on your left and 6 reps on your right side, so jumping across. Take your time in between the repetitions. This is not an endurance element, this is not a strength and power necessarily, this is a speed and agility, and with speed and agility we've got to have a relative freshness to what we're trying to achieve, right? So take your time in between. If you're confused about what you're doing, slow it down, just walk through the movement and then make sure you're generating force off the stepped foot and then landing and absorbing that force. Okay, now the complexity comes with the jump. So when Ronan goes across to that last jump, he's going to jump vertically also. So it's a horizontal displacement as much as possible and then height up a jump. Now in its own right, this is a change of direction because it's horizontal momentum and now there's vertical momentum to jump upwards. So it's quite a challenging movement to change all that momentum going this way, and your lateral hip is going to be tested when I do this. Also, it's already tested to shift you, but now it's testing you how to decelerate it to generate force upwards. So you can see how the lateral hips and the stability and mobility has transferred onto this, and also the transfer to your sport, the ability to shift your weight across will maybe get the opportunity to score or to take a pass or to get around your opponent. So this here is really important skill transfer and supported by the stability and mobility programs in the other units. Good. So again, you do 6 left, 6 right, take your time in between each one. Okay. Now we're going to add in some acceleration, deceleration. Again, adds another functionality to this movement. But before we do that, I just want to recap on what's good acceleration like and what's good deceleration like. So I talked many times about the athletic position. The athletic position for me, without going into too much technical content, is as long as you feel at home that I can jump from this position, I can move forward, I can sprint back, I can turn left, right, I can rotate, and also I can jump from this position. If you feel like you can do those things from a good position without doing an alternating move or a prior movement, then you're in the right position. And usually it's said it's just a little flexion of the hip and ankle, knees and hip, but a little bit off the heel, off the floor. So if you feel comfortable in position, you probably got your center of mass where it needs to be. That's your starting position. And the first thing here we always say is that drop step to accelerate yourself. And once you get that drop step, that step behind you, you're in a nice forward lean and you can get into good acceleration mechanics. So Rowan's going to try. Off you go. So good position, drive the back foot and accelerate forward. Perfect. Okay, so again, every time you practice these, your body's always giving yourself feedback, and even you can give yourself feedback. I didn't do this right, I didn't get my hand driving, I didn't get into good forward lean, or I stepped too far in front of myself, slowed me down. I need to get into that pistol action to drive get myself over my inertia to get myself into good speed. So feedback on every repetition for yourself and try and develop yourself through the movement. Okay, off you go. Good. So we're going to go 3 left and 3 right. When I say that, I mean your back foot You know, so some guys, some girls like to are favor the right foot going back. I want you to challenge you by going left foot back also in these moves. So 3 left, 3 right. We'll just do another 2 reps. So alternate your back step. Good. Yeah, and we'll do one more. Again, each time practicing a good acceleration. If you get a little bit better, improving a millisecond in this has a big transfer to your sport. So you may feel like you're not getting much quicker, but a little bit quicker can have a huge transfer to your sport. And it's all those milliseconds that make the difference between sometimes winning and losing. So you're practicing something that has great functionality to your sport. Okay, now we're going to do just 2 reps at home, though I want you to do 3 reps on each side. We're going to decelerate, so the same things apply, but my focus is now on how well he decelerates at the cone. So sprinting, good athletic position, good acceleration. Now decelerate, showing one way, if you can remember what I mean by that. Talk us through that when he does it. Yep, when you're ready to run. Showing one way on the deceleration. See the way he's not just flat and forward, then it gives the opposition options to go left and right. I want to show him one way so I can almost predict which way he's going to go or she's going to go, so I am in a better position to defend. Same thing again, left and right. So the other side now. Good. And again, you start in a good athletic position and you end in a good athletic position. So a position you're ready to jump from, move from again. So if you're already up on your toes, that's not a good position because it's easy for the opposition to get around you. So make sure you're in a good position when you finish. Okay, 2 more reps, left and right. Again, at home, you're going to do 3 left and right. Good. So in a good position. Yeah, last one. Take your time in between these. It's not a rush job. It's learning the techniques, and the techniques will transfer for your sport. Yep, good position. Drive, decelerate. Good. Okay, now we're going to combine some of these components. And remember, this is a skill that once you do learn it and you develop it, it's going to transfer. The sport isn't going to change that much where acceleration, deceleration is important. So it's a good skill to learn. So go back onto the hops. We're crossing over. That's driving me across. I'm jumping up. As I land, now I'm into a good or a good start position, if you like, a first step position to drive myself forward. So cross over, land, stick, jump, and then sprint forward 5 meters and decelerate on that cone. So combining everything we just did. Crossing over, jump, sprint, and decelerate. Good. There's a lot going on here, and you go try the other side and run. You've got to transfer force, you've got to transfer laterally, then you got to jump up, then when you land, you got to sprint forward, then you got to decelerate. Quite a challenging movement here to get everything right. Okay, jump, good, sprint and decelerate. Good, it's very good. Okay, we'll do one more on our left and one more on our right, just so we know, and at home you can try these again. I would like you to do 3 on your left and 3 on your right. Good. Last one. Cross over, get across, good. Yeah, and sprint, good. If you want to at home, be your own coach, record it, see where you're breaking down. So it's what I do with the athletes I work with. I'll see where the performance gap is. Is the lateral shift not good? So they work on that. Is the jump not good? Work on that. Is the acceleration not good? Work on that, for instance. So there's something you can try at home to be your own coach. Okay, now we're going to come up to here because we're going to sprint behind ourselves. So the same thing again, crossing over in front, jump landing, but instead of running forward, now we're going to sprint back. Now just a couple of things here to think about is when I go across and I jump and I land here again, I want to turn outside my mass, not inside. I don't want to turn inside, I want to turn outside because that's the mechanics we're looking for. Okay? Yeah, so you'll turn facing the camera. Oh, the other way, yeah, facing the camera. So this is ideal to show you that it's important to just think about what you're doing, and when you do have a little bit of that's great for learning, and that's the essence of coaching. Once you challenge the movement and you get it wrong, I feel encouraged by that. I feel like at least there's development happening from a neuroplasticity way, and you're thinking about the movement, and also the movement has to get refined. So failure is quite a good thing on this one. And then when you see he landed there, you can probably observe at home, it's a bit of a narrow stance. So you got to land with kind of a wide stance to allow yourself to turn and rotate. So narrow stance is hard to move from. So there's a lot going on here. That's much better, much better. So nice wide base of support for him to accelerate from, and that's what we're looking for with all the complexity going on here in the movement. Okay, last one, then running, cross over, jump as far as you can, jump up, rotate, perfect, much better. You can see how you know, he knows what he's doing, he knows his body, and as his repetitions are going better, the quality starts to increase, and that's what will happen at home. Okay, the last bit, so I said before at the start of this, we're going to go to our 90%. I want to have the same process here, but we transition, or we do a movement for 10 meters, then we transition into our sprint. Now we got 6 sprints to do. The first 2 are at 80, the second 2 are at 85, and then the last 2 are at 90%. Okay, so the first one's an A skip. I don't know if you remember these at home. The foot is kind of getting up to about mid shin, and you're trying to get into that nice pattern. Balls your feet hit the floor, pushing down into the floor with your hands and obviously with your feet, and pushing the floor away. Then once you get to 10 meters, open up into the 30 meter 80% on the first one. Okay, off we go. So I'm punching down into the floor. Yeah, you can get into a march first and into a sprint. So I like what Ronan did there. He started off just by getting into a march, getting the pattern right, but instead of jumping straight into it. So march up, get the pattern right first, and then add a bit more force and a bit more intensity to it, and then he opens up to 90%. Or sorry, 80% in the first one. This is 80% again. Now we're going into a B skip. So it's that cyclic action of the foot coming around, balls of the feet hits the floor. Yeah, scraping the floor, foot coming around, foot coming around, foot coming around, and then open up again, 80%. Don't worry too much about the deceleration here, just go past the gates, the 30 meters, and then slow down gradually. And then you walk back. Again, rest is important here, because now we're at the higher end of the maximal intensity, so you're going to need your rest, so take your time coming back. Challenging the movement a bit more now, so we're going lateral A skips, so we're going face one way and do the lateral A skip. You might want to march it and then build up the intensity as you go, and a little bit quicker as towards you get to the end, and then do your sprint. 85% now. That's good, really good mechanics, and he's sprinting forward, perfect. Slowing down gradually, really good, really good. Okay, same thing again, just facing the other way. So he needs to get his breather. Again, with the A skips, it's a very good acceleration mechanics patterning to get the body into that movement. So now we do it the other side. Build up with the marches, and then into the sort of A skips that we're looking for. Good. Into our sprint. Perfect. That's good. We've got 2 more to do now, and the last 2 then are a little bit less mechanically driven, like linear mechanics driven. They're more, I would say, functional to the sport. So the first one, well, they're both crossover, but the first one is facing one way and the other one is facing the other way. So we're going to cross over in front as we travel back. So we're just doing this movement here. It's sort of the movement here, if you think of the context of the game, you might be in a game where you can't press the guy in the ball, he's too far away almost. You don't want to lose your man, you want to keep him in distance, but you want to retract back in the position in the pitch, and also maintain a good position to move from. So if I just travel backwards and then I have to move forward, the center of mass and the time it takes me then to move forward is going to kill me in terms of seconds to kind of get there. Whereas if I'm traveling back and I can see my man, I can see the guy in possession, he makes a pass to the guy that I'm marking, I can sprint forward to him quite easily here. So it's practicing that position, crossing over in front, crossing over in front, crossing over in front, and then opening them up into that 90%. Okay, off we go. Good. And sprint. Good. So that's important there, that we're doing a crossover in front. Now what you can explore with this movement is that my head can look in front of me and my head can look behind me. I can also track that runner, so I'm just in a good position to move from. And we're going to add some complexity to that, because there's a few movements that help you be successful in the sport, because you don't want to find yourself in a position that's going to be hard for you to move from. You want to be always in an optimal position, and the crossover step is a good one for me to keep yourself in that good position. Okay, off we go on the other side and into the 90%. Perfect. Okay, that's good. So that's your 6 repetitions. I want you to take a 2 minute to 3 minute rest. Again, more rest is probably better, just in the context of what we're trying to work on, and do the same cycle of movements again. You build up to the 80, the 85, and then 90%. So when you do 3 reps, obviously the last 2 reps are in the 90s. Now of 4 of 6 of them, I would like you to get to 80%. If you want to calm down at the last 2, then feel free to, but at least try and get about 4 repetitions of 90%. Prepare us for what's coming next. But hope you enjoyed it. Hope there's some context. I hope you see the transfer, and we'll see you again soon.